1, 2, 3. Good. All right, great to see everybody. Appreciate everybody coming out. Good practice. Great work, great spirits. Excited about the challenge in front of us, which is playing the Pittsburgh Steelers at our stadium. Always a great challenge. A couple of announcements. The quarterback for this game will be Tyler. The backup will be Josh. That's the way we'll be going with it. Beyond that, there's really not too much to talk about. The only real injury announcement that I know of for sure is Darryl Worley will be out of the game with his injuries. After that, it's going to be day-to-day with guys. Closer to the game, we'll know who can play. Really not ruling anybody else out of the game until we see what our injury situation is. Okay. What questions? He will be.
Mason Rudolph sort of gave their offense a jolt a little bit. It's been a couple of years since you've seen him. What are you seeing from him now?
Yeah, I would say that. I mean, he has given him a jolt. You know, he's playing really well. He's standing in there. He's making throws. He's delivering the ball down the field, outside, inside, moving around the pocket well. Obviously, their numbers are way up in the game since he's been in there. So, yeah, he's made a difference for him.
John, you waited till today to make the final announcement on Lamar. I mean, what sort of nailed it down for you?
I just think you just kind of consider all things. There's really not any one thing that goes into it. Just all things considered, it seemed to be the right thing to do. I mean, have conversations with Lamar and others and make the decision.
John, that Lamar improved particularly in any one area this year? Like, now that his regular season's over, like what stands out about the way he performed this year most of you?
Right. That's a question we get asked a lot, to try to pick one thing out, and it's really hard to do that. Because I just feel like there wasn't any one thing, that kind of needed to be better. It's like really most players at that level, you're talking about the best of the best. It's really the ability to improve across the board, and the collective difference it makes from one year to the next. And to me, with Lamar, it's just kind of a natural progression. I mean, he's always been a great player since he got here. But his ability to improve across the board, I think his ability over the course of the season to assimilate the offense that we're in now. A lot of things are very similar to what we've done in the past, but a lot of things aren't, and operating at the line of scrimmage and making certain decisions that showed up even in this last game are a big part of it too. He's throwing the ball well. He's moving in the pocket. He's seeing the field. He's protecting the ball. All the run game checks that he makes. I mean, there's a lot of things. Well, that's probably one thing I would say is probably, he's always kind of had a single-minded focus, but I don't think I've ever seen it quite like this. He's been that way since the off-season when we talked, since he came to OTAs, since training camp, one day at a time, locked in. That's kind of how he's approached it, and I think it's been reflected in how he's practiced and how he's played.
John, what did you think of the Rose Bowl, and how exciting has it been for your family, just the success your team and Jim's team have both had?
Yeah. It's been amazing. I mean, I just couldn't be happier. It was a nail biter, obviously playing Alabama and Nick Saban and the players that they have. It was really amazing when that stop got made at the end of the 5-yard line. So I was just thrilled for the Michigan team, thrilled for Jim, thrilled for Jesse, thrilled for Sharon, thrilled for everybody there. JJ, Blake Corum, St. Francis guy. St. Francis guy made the play at the end there to stop the quarterback from scoring. So we got a lot of St. Francis Academy guys there. Just couldn't have been more pleased. I was really happy for my mom and dad. That interview that they had, they were talking about switching seats, I mean, that is so classic of them, Actually thinking it probably did make the difference. And my mom, I mean, the guy doing the announcing, you guys will appreciate this, but my dad, he's fun, but he's a little bit polished. He's been interviewed before. My mom, you put a microphone in front of her face or you hang out with her for a couple minutes, you don't even have to ask her what she thinks. She's got to tell you what she thinks, I think he figured that out pretty quick, so it was fun to watch.
Are you going to have to watch the final here, or are you going to
I'm going to go to the game. I'm going to go to the game, take Ingrid, and, we're going to enjoy that. Thanks.
Was your parents have that type of reaction to a game like yours in the past?
Yeah. They're pretty excited. My dad always, he's either here. He always says who's got better than us. I mean, that's a given. We say that to the team a lot. Our guys know the answer. We even have the T-shirt. But, yeah. my dad always says every time we win, he always basically says, "That's your best win yet," So they keep coming.
We saw Malik Cunningham out there warming up with wide receivers. I know he's a quarterback here, but what are some of the skills he brings in that sort of role, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna, he'll be up for the game. He'll be active, and he'll be a quarterback in the rotation. He'll be our third quarterback, but he'll also be able to play some other positions for us. He'll be able to play a little bit on special teams, whatever we decide he can do. I mean, he's a little new to that. He'll be playing wide receiver, which he's been practicing here and there, and so he'll be a factor.
John, going back to Lamar for a second, I know you guys have a lot more you want to do, so does he. But just thinking back to the off season, just all the unsurety surrounding him and maybe his future with the team, and you think back to that point and where you are now in the season, the regular season he's been able to have, just what comes to your mind about how happy you are from the transition from, say, March to now?
Yeah, happy, very happy. how couldn't be any happier. I mean, this is the outcome that honestly that I hoped for and prayed for. And to see it come about this way, not surprising. I think you never know, but I think my thought was that it was gonna happen, that he was gonna be a Raven, just because I felt like he wanted to be a Raven, but also because I was on the outside of it, kind of watching a little bit, not being directly involved. I just felt my feeling was Lamar wanted to be here, and Eric and Steve wanted Lamar here. And that being the case, it was going to work out one way or another somehow. And so I just was patient, in my mind that when we start practicing, Lamar will be out there. But beyond that, I think what I'm really excited about through all of that is just Lamar's character, his competitiveness, his desire to be great, to your point, to be the best. That has never been in question, but I think it's shown very true throughout the whole process.
John, you talked on Monday about how it's a two-stage process at this point. You're preparing for the Steelers, but you're preparing for the playoffs too. Do you have it all mapped out at this point? I mean, do you sort of know every day between now and the playoff game?
Right. Yeah. The only question is what day we're going to play. I was a little bit, I'll be honest with you, a little surprised that we played on Saturday on this one, but it's fine. You just adapt. So it's mapped out, and then we'll see which day we play. So there's a couple maps.
John, from an opponent's perspective, in this finale, Pittsburgh, obviously, it's a rival. Do you like it in the fact that, obviously you guys are number one seeded, seeding's wrapped up, but they're playing for something, and you guys have you can keep them out of the playoffs, I guess. Do you like that scenario in this final game?
Yeah, I don't think we have to be. There's no lack of motivation, for sure. Just because first of all, it's an NFL game, and the guys playing in the game are going to be giving it all they've got. You have to. And the guys playing the game want to win each play, and they want to win the game. They're going to play their very best. They're going to play as hard as they possibly can. The other part of it, is we're playing a division rival, so what goes with that. They know us, we know them, and we know what it's going to take to win a game like this. So and then it's Pittsburgh, so all those things factor in.
John, how creative? And maybe this is more Eric's department, but I'm sure you have an impact on it. You almost have to get Saturday to make sure you have coverage at certain spots, to make sure you can get the guys off that you don't want really to see. Is that kind of been something you're going to have to juggle right up until inactives are due 90 minutes before the game?
Yeah, it's like a puzzle, except the puzzle pieces are constantly morphing into different shapes, day by day. So by Saturday, I'm sure it'll all fit together.
John, the past few weeks, Zay hasn't practiced with him, he's had great in-game performances. What has it been like to manage over who hasn't had an NFL season before, and it's just like making sure he keeps him until he keeps getting exposed?
Right, big challenge. Big challenge. Zay's been dealing with that issue and hadn't been able to practice, but still played well. But that's not something that you want to have to happen too much. He needs to practice. So hopefully he'll be able to get out there and practice tomorrow, and Friday. That's our hope.
John, you talked a little about 2019, but when you're planning out these next couple weeks, is there anything you plan to do differently maybe to kind of hedge against the rust factor and guys not getting live reps?
Yeah, I don't know. We put up 500 yards in that game. We just didn't score touchdowns. That's really the bottom line. And by the end of the game, our defense, got a little worn out against a really good running team. So, it's kind of a narrative. We didn't win the game. We didn't score enough points, but it wasn't like we weren't moving the ball. We just didn't execute in the red zone very well. So, that was just a football game. I think we had really good practices and went back and kind of looked through that and notes and things like that. We practiced great. Guys had good spirits. I think we had a good game plan. We just didn't get the job done in certain plays, So that's how football goes. So, not really. I think more I guess the long-winded point here is that you just look at where you're at with your team at this time and make the decisions that are best as you see it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks.